Hey everyone, welcome to Sidetrack Adventures. This is Steve. If you follow this channel for any length of time, you know that I love checking out places of hidden, obscure, or lost history. Well, last night we stayed here in Santa Clarita, California, and I realized just a block away is one such place. A place that dates back hundreds of years, before the arrival of the first Europeans, and was probably once the most famous thing in this area, even being featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not. So today, we're going to head about a block down the road and see if we could check out Santa Clarita's signal tree. We are currently in northern Los Angeles County, about a quarter mile off Interstate 5, in an area called Stevenson Ranch. The road I'm walking down right now is called the Old Road, which is a fitting name because the road is really old. It's only been named the Old Road since the 1960s, but this used to be Highway 99 and Highway 6, and before that, it was the Ridge Route. This is also the same route that stagecoaches once traveled, heading between Los Angeles and California's Central Valley. By the time of stagecoaches, however, this road was already an old road. It follows a route the Tataviam people used for hundreds, if not over 1,000 years. The Tataviam traveling through this area is also why the tree we're going to see is notable. What we're heading to is called the signal tree, so we must be getting close because the road says signal ahead. The tree we're looking for should be located on the grounds of that hotel across the street. The hotel is said to have something of a weird layout because they had to build around it. Everything around here, aside from the road, was built in the last 25 years. Alright, so there's the tree right in front of us, and from this angle it doesn't look like anything really special, but once we get around to the side of it, you'll see why it's called the signal tree. This would have been sort of the road sign of its time for natives traveling through the area. Hundreds of years ago, when this valley oak was young, it was purposefully bent over and had its top branches affixed to the ground by natives to use as a directional marker. You can see its weird shape and how the tree just continues to grow up out of it. These trees were used by Native Americans to designate trails, crossing points on streams, medicinal sites to find plants, and areas of significance like council circles. There's no way to know for sure, but it's believed that the tree was probably pointing the way to Pico Springs. These are often called trail trees, and they're far more common east of the Mississippi River. They're actually pretty rare in the western United States. This tree gained national fame in 1930 when it was featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not, which was one of the most popular newspaper strips of its time, reaching up to 80 million people worldwide. Though, the strip claims it's an oak tree with 4 trunks, so in this case, you should not believe it. I guess the branches growing into the ground look like extra trunks, but Robert Ripley probably based the strip off a picture and never came out here himself. The tree being featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not was a big enough deal that postcards showing the tree would mention that. It was even known as the Ripley Oak for a while. Taking a closer look, this is the trunk. And here's the branch growing into the ground. This large branch broke off in 2019, so it doesn't look exactly the same as it does in the historical photos. Back in the 1930s, this area wasn't built up like it is now. There was really just the road, Highway 99 passing by here, and farmland. That was the case all the way up to the 1980s, really. I don't believe there's anything here, any plaque or any marker noting the tree's significance, but let's take a look around real quick just to make sure. And yeah, it doesn't look like there's anything for it. I'm not sure if any study's been done on how old the tree is, but in photos from 100 years ago, it's already quite large, so it's at least a few hundred years old. These trees could live about 600 years. We've come all this way. I don't think we could leave without going under the tree. I know everyone's dying to see what it looks like under a valley oak. So here we are, the underside of a tree. People staying in this hotel are probably looking out their window right now, wondering what the heck I'm doing. This tree was declared a landmark, and when the hotel was built in the year 2000, it was required to preserve and build around the tree. The hotel also kind of hides the tree from view, which probably helped it fade from memory and become a somewhat forgotten piece of history in the area. Hopefully you're watching this video on Arbor Day because nearby there's another famous tree, so we might as well go check out Old Glory. We've moved a couple miles down the road, and this tree in front of us is called Old Glory and was officially made a Los Angeles County Historic Landmark in 2024. It's probably the second most famous tree in this area, behind the Oak of the Golden Dream. I did a video on the Oak of the Golden Dream previously, and I'll link that in the description. But this is Old Glory. This tree is about 400 years old, but it used to be located about a quarter mile from here. The tree became famous because they were going to cut it down in 2002 for a new development project, but a tree activist named John Quigley climbed the tree and wouldn't leave it for 71 days in order to save it. He was eventually removed, but the whole thing brought attention to the tree, and to save it, the tree was moved here in 2004. I have no idea how you just move an oak tree of this size, however. It's kind of amazing that this is the same type of tree as the signal tree, but this is what they look like when they aren't bent. So that's our look at Santa Clarita's signal tree and Old Glory. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and we'll see you next week.